ahora ya es real del Reino del Norte. Traigo purificación por ustedes, negros, latinos, indígenas, Israel. Before I start talking about race number 2, Yahweh, being the name of the Lord, not Jehovah or God, Yah or Ahaya. It's Yah, creator of the ancient days. Bahasha is in the name of, and Yahusha is the one you guys call Jesus or the Christ that we're speaking. We give double honor to all the GMS, to the apostles, the bishops, and to the men down in the highways and byways, giving the 100% truth day and night. Shalom to you. So we are here in Babylon. Day today is August 17th of 2025. We're hopefully here in destruction and the salvation of the nation of Israel. Okay? It's a windy day, sunny day. Maybe 10 to 12 mile an hour winds, so you gotta bear with me a little bit. We're gonna bring out some of this judgment that the Lord is coming out. You know, because we already saw what Donald Trump and his laws are about to do to so-called Negros, right? And we already had talked about how the laws he incriminated against so-called immigrants had nothing to do about immigration. It was just a practice run on how to start collecting or hurting the crowd. Okay? If you ever seen the movie The Siege, that's exactly what they did. They started putting everything in grids, platform, checkpoints, and that's what's coming next. Okay? Liberalism, all that is dead. The concept of working hard and you're going to get something at the end of the day, that shit's dead. The American dream is dead. All that is coming to fruition. Young people don't think that way. Young people know that you're going to be working hard, somebody's going to steal from you. What happens, the government already jacks you for your tax money. Right? So the ideas and concepts that your grandfather, that even your mother and father had, the young people don't have them. They know that it's a setup, right? That America has been raping and stealing from other nations. They know this, right? We didn't know this. We have found this out later on in life. But now these kids are finding out that this nation steals from other nations and create war. And that's how America became great. Okay, so they know when Donald Trump is speaking about let's make America great again, what is that saying? Let's get over on some people, let's do a little raping, stealing, right? You know, the usual, what our ancestors did to get above other people. So all that, people are seeing it, people are seeing the genocide, right, in what you would call Palestine, which is prophecy in the scriptures, right? For true transgression of Palestine, right? So all this is all happening because it's biblical prophecy unfolding. A lot of people don't understand it, right? Because the scriptures are not to be understood by everybody. It's the Israelites who are going to give the sense, that are give the understanding, the breakdown. So let's start with that. Let's start with, I already had something before even this lesson. So vamos a hablar de estas cosas que están pasando, que Donald Trump está haciendo, ¿ok? Pero todo esto es profecía, hermanos. Okay? So tienes que ver de estas cosas. Este es Mica, capítulo 2, versículo 1. Hay de los que en sus camas piensan en iniquidad y imaginan el mal. Y cuando llega la mañana, lo ejecutan porque tienen en su mano el poder. Sí, porque ¿quién tiene el poder de ejecutar estas conceptos, ideas? El autoproclamado hombre blanco, ¿sí? Los que están en gobierno, los que están reinando, ¿ok? So él empieza a soñar, a pensar esas cosas y luego dice, ¿sabes qué? Esto es lo que voy a hacer mañana. Eso es lo que Donald Trump está implicando, estas leyes, ¿ok? Estas leyes dracónicas. Versículo 2. Codician las heredades y se la roban, ¿ok? El autoproclamado blanco viene, ¿sabes que este terreno es precioso? Ahora me pertenece a mí. Sí, es lo que hizo con los indígenas, se robó todo y lo hizo de ellos. Codician las heredades y se la roban. y casas y la toman, oprimen al hombre y a su casa, al hombre y a su heredad. ¿Qué hicieron? Se robaron todo este continente. Se robaron todo este continente y se han adueñado de esto. Y hoy en día sus descendientes te dicen que este es su país. Pero le digo, espérate, ¿cómo va a ser tu país? Pues esta es tierra robada. ¿Sí? So let's go to kick it off with this Micah chapter 2 verse 1, and there's a title to it. It says, woe to the oppressors. Okay, so this is talking about who has been on top for centuries, right? This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Right? Because these people, before they enact it, they're imagining it, right? They're dreaming of it. Okay, so woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right? Because there's a lot of people that have concepts or have ideas, but they have no power. So who is this talking about? This is the people that are in power, the elites, right? What you would call the elite, the 1% of this world, right? Because they can implement these laws. Who's implementing the laws right now? Donald Trump, right? Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses. Let me read that again. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. So what happened in 1492? People came here, stole, genocide, raped, and now their descendants say that this is my country, that this is my land, right? But only behind a great crime, there's a great fortune, okay? So their descendants can say that, but remember, this is stolen land. This is what happens when people are in power that are wicked and they pass the laws that they want, right? They were doing this at the time of the Greeks. This is nothing new under the sun. The Greeks were doing it, draconian laws. Look up Draco. They were doing this 2,500 years ago. So there's nothing new under the sun that their forefathers were doing this, and now here it is, 2025, they're doing it again, okay? Habla de los malditos y hablan de quién va a obtener salvación. Okay, so vamos a leer los de Salmos 37 y 35. Vino el impío, su mente enaltecido. Yo estaba viendo el autoproclamado hombre blanco que reinando. Okay. como laurel verde. ¿Quién se ponía laureles en el tiempo de Grecia? Se ponían los laureles aquí, ¿ok? Eso te está diciendo, los romanos, ¿ok? Los romanos son, el típico romano es el autoproclamado hombre blanco, ¿ok? Que está poniendo los laureles, que significa victoria, ¿ok? Pero él pasó y aquí ya no estaba. Lo busqué y no fue hallado. Va a haber una época que el Señor va a destruir a esta gente y no va a estar en poder otra vez. Y no van a tener esa victoria, ¿ok? Y eso es lo que está pasando en estos instantes. Lo que le llamas Estados Unidos, América, va a caer. ¿Okay? Estas son las últimas horas de este imperio, ¿okay? Como todo imperio, hay un principio y hay un fin a todo. Versículo 37. Considera el entrego y mira el justo, porque hay un final dichoso para el hombre de paz. Está diciendo los que están justos, los que fueron oprimidos, el tiempo de su salvación está cerca. El fin de esos impíos, de esos malditos, su fin está proclamado. Y la salvación del hombre justo está cerca. Versículo 38. Mas los transgresores serán todos a una destruidos. La posteridad de los impíos será extinguida. El tiempo de su reinar está llegando a su fin. ¿Okay? Y vemos por donde quiera el respeto que ya gente no tiene para Estados Unidos. La falta de respeto de la raza blanca. Ya no la ven como algo supremo. Ya la ven como basura. Mentirosos. ¿Sí? Versículo 39. Pero la salvación de los justos es de Yahweh, y Él es su fortaleza en el tiempo de su angustia. ¿Okay? Otra vez vamos a leer eso. Pero la salvación de los justos es de Yahweh. Solo está hablando de los electos de la nación de Israel que va a salvar. ¿Okay? Porque está en las manos del Señor eso. No en las manos de nosotros. Nosotros estamos proclamando lo que viene. Y Él es su fortaleza en el tiempo de la angustia. Y este es el tiempo de la tribulación de Jacob. Estamos a los principios del tiempo de angustia, hermanos. ¿Qué es eso? Oye eso. Versículo 40. Yahweh los ayudará y los librará. Los libertará de los impíos y los salvará. Por cuanto en el esperar. Sí, porque estamos esperando miles de años por la segunda venida de la Mashiach Yahushua. ¿Ok? Eso es lo que está pasando en esas últimas horas, que nuestra gente se está despertando, que son los israelitas. ¿Ok? Que no somos cristianos, ni católicos, ni indios, ni latinos, ni generación X, ni chicanos, que somos los hijos de Israel. ¿Ok? Eso es lo que la gente se está despertando y está viendo, que nosotros cabemos las profecías. Y que estas iglesias no tienen las respuestas y nunca la han tenido. ¿Okay? This is Psalms 37 and 35. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading itself like a green bay tree. Right? If you see a green bay tree, it's a big tree. But what is happening, if you're close to a river, that tree grows even bigger. Okay? So it's talking about the nation, which we'll call the Greeks, the Romans. They later became the British, the French, the Dutch, right? They all became great nations. Okay? I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading itself like a green bay tree. Became a great nation, powerful nation. And guess what? They're about to go down. The tree's about to fall over. That tree is done. It's power. It's time for its giving shade. It's time for for being there as majestic, it's coming to an end. Someone's about to chop it down. Somebody's about to bring it down, right? Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yet I sought him, but he could not be found. There's going to be a point where these people in power that have been ruling this whole world, there's nowhere you're going to be able to find them, because they're no longer going to be in power. There's going to be a changing of the guard. There's going to be a new nation of people. They're going to be calling the shots, what you call the Israelites, right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. These people will be empowered according to the prophecies. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. Verse 37. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace, right? Because the upright has been oppressed for a long, long time. Okay? Remember, this is the time of Egypt. This is the time of Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Medes. All these empires have gone and passed, and these people are still being oppressed. So they require salvation. They require to be delivered from the hands of their enemies. And it's prophesied. Verse 38. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off, right? Because prophecy of America being destroyed, predates a lot of these prophecies that you hear. You see it in the Bible, but you also see the native tribes have prophecies of America being destroyed by balls of fire, by fire. So all the tribes had the same prophecies, the same dreams, and came to the same conclusion, that the place of drawing waters will be destroyed in the last days. The hammer of the earth is going to be destroyed. Verse 39. But the salvation of the righteous is of Yahweh. He is their strength in the time of trouble, right? Because upon Jacob's trouble has started because the persecution of the so-called northern kingdom has begun, and now the persecution of the southern kingdom is at hand. People are getting locked up and thrown away. Okay? So it's not a black thing, it's not a brown thing, it's an Israelite thing. Okay? And the Lord shall help them and deliver them, and he shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him, right? And that's not talking about the whole nation of Israel. Because remember, the nation of Israel is believing in Jesus and Jehovah and Allah and all that stuff. And the creator of heaven and earth is not with that. Okay, he's only just going to save the elect of the nation of Israel, the ones that know that they're Israelites and have repented and returned to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai in this day and age. Right? What was sold in John 3. To be born again. That's what this is talking about. To returning to their heritage, to their language, to their culture. So that's what's happening as we speak. So people are finding out who the Israelites are in these last days. So prophecy is being fulfilled as we speak. Apocalipsis 17 y 8. La bestia que ha visto era y no es, y está para subir del abismo y ir a perdición. Y los moradores de la tierra, aquellos cuyos nombres no están escritos desde la fundación del mundo en el libro de la vida, se asombrarán viendo la bestia que era no y no está será. So, eso está hablando de la creación de Estados Unidos, que se iba a asemblar, que se iba a subir, iba a llegar a poder esa bestia ¿ok? Y está hablando de los que no están escritos. ¿Quién no está escritos? Es los edomitas. Y las otras naciones no están escritos en el libro de la vida, de las escrituras. ¿Ok? Las Naciones Unidas. Ese poder, esa bestia. ¿Ok? Que muchos no pueden, lo que es NATO, UNAM, todo eso. Es la fuerza de Europa. ¿Ok? Revelation 17 and 8. And the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and it shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. And what is the bottomless pit? Well, Europe is the bottomless pit. It doesn't have any resources. The bottomless pit is talking about NATO. Okay? The creation of NATO. All those nations came together to gang up on everybody else. Typical stuff, right? Nothing new under the sun there. Shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book, right? Because the people that were not named in the book, and those, remember, there's 18 nations, and only one nation is written in the book of life. The other nations are not written in the book of life. From the foundation of the world, when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. Right, so at that time, 2,000 years ago, it didn't exist. But it's going to be, and it was, it turned out, right? They created that after World War II. And now it came to power and ruled, and now they have what? The BRIC system, the competition to that. So those European nations hate the horn, which is America. Okay? It's not that hard to understand. Daniel 4 y 11. Crecía este árbol y se hacía fuerte, y su copa llegó hasta el cielo, y se le alcanzaba a ver desde todas las confines de la tierra. Su follaje era hermoso y su fruto abundante, y había en él alimento para todos. Debajo de él se ponían a la sombra las bestias del campo. Okay. So, este árbol está hablando de una nación. Okay. debajo de él se ponían a la sombra las bestias del campo, y en sus ramas hacían moradas las aves del cielo, y se mantenían de él toda carne. Entonces, esta nación, okay, está hablando del sueño del rey de Babilonia. Vi en la visión de mi cabeza, mientras estaban en mi cama, que he aquí un vigilante y santo descendía del cielo. Está hablando de un ángel, ¿okay? Y clamaba fuertemente y decía: así derribará el árbol y cortar sus ramas. Quítale el follaje y dispersa su fruto. Váyanse las bestias que están debajo de él y las aves de sus ramas. Mas la cepa de sus raíces dejaráis en la tierra con atadura y hierro y de bronce. Entre las hierbas del campo sea mojado con el rocío del cielo, y con las bestias se su parte entre la hierba de la tierra. Su corazón de hombre se ha cambiado, y se ha dado corazón de bestia, y pasen sobre él 7 tiempos. Este sueño está hablando del rey de Babilonia. El Señor hizo una bestia por 7 años, lo hizo comer pasto, y su imperio cayó, fue destruido. Esto pasó de verdad, ¿okay? La sentencia es por decreto de los vigilantes, ¿okay? Porque los ángeles están viendo todo esto. Y por dicho de los santos, la resolución para que conozcan los vivientes que el Altísimo gobierna el reino de los hombres, y que a quien él quiera lo da, y constituye sobre él al más bajo de los hombres. Él pone en poder, el Señor pone en poder a quien él quiera. Y ahorita puso el peor hombre que ha existido, el más bajo, que es el autoproclamado hombre blanco, que las escrituras son llamados ESAU, o la nación de Edom. Ellos están reinando hasta el tiempo de los gentiles llegue a su fin, y eso está llegando a su fin ahora. Su imperio está llegando a su fin. Acuérdate, en 1492 llegó el fin de los indígenas. Llegaron, los conquistaron, y la matanza de ellos llegó a su fin. Hay tribus como los en México, son los purépechas. Ellos tenían profecías del fin de su sociedad. Cuando ellos sabían y oyeron que llegó el autoproclamado hombre blanco y que toda esta gente estaba muriendo, ¿qué hicieron los purépechas? Agarraron, hicieron mochilas con piedras y se tiraron a la laguna. O sea, el fin, llegó el fin. No hay nada que iban a poder hacer, porque era profecía que su sociedad, su mundo va a llegar a su fin. Ellos mejor se ahogaron que ver estas cosas. Esta gente, estos edomitas, estos caucásicos, están viendo su mundo llegando a su fin. ¿Okay? Como el mundo de los indígenas llegó a su fin, ahora el mundo de esta gente está llegando a su fin. El fin de sus sueños, el fin de su sociedad está llegando a su fin. Lo que es Estados Unidos, ya ha llegado el fin de Estados Unidos. ¿Okay? Va a llegar el militar y va a ser un gobierno militarizado. ¿Okay? Ya no vas a poder ir hoy, yo voy a ir aquí, yo voy a ir acá. No, vas a tener que tener permiso para poder moverte entre ciudades. ¿Okay? Eso es lo que viene, hermanos. ¿Okay? El fin de esta sociedad está cerca. This is Daniel 4:11. The tree grew and was strong. This is the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of the earth. So this tree represents the empire, okay, that he was in at that time, which was the head, which was Babylon. the leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much. And then it was meat for all the beasts of the field. And the beasts of the field are all the nations that were around Babylon. For the beast of the field had shadow under it, and fowls of heaven dwelt in his boughs, and therefore all flesh was fed of it. Right? Because the Babylonian Empire ruled for some time. I saw in the vision of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, unholy one, came down from heaven. He saw an angel come down. He cried aloud and said, thus hew down the tree, chop down the tree, and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit. Let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, and the tender grass of the field, and then let it be wet with the dew of heaven. And let his portion be with the beast in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him. And let 7 times pass over him. So what happened, if you know the story, the Lord made the king into a beast for 7 years. And for 7 years he ate straw. Right? He made him into a beast for 7 years. His empire came to an end. And then he made him into an animal. And then he brought him back and made him into a man again. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over in the baseness of men. Right? So the creator of heaven and earth gives the empire to whoever he wants. And what did he do? Give it to the lowest man there ever was that ever lived, which are the Edomites, which are ruling at this time. And the time of their rulership is coming to an end. The time of America's fruition is prophecy to come to an end. Right? You can go to the Hopi Nation, you go to the Bible, it all talks about the fire, the coming, the end that will be burned up. Okay? So whatever you believe in, there's a beginning to everything, and there's an end to everything. In 1492, that was the end of the natives, and they knew it, because they had prophecies. There was native tribes in Mexico, when they knew that the end was close, that they built backpacks, right, with stones in them, and jumped into the lakes, because they knew that their world was at an end. There was nothing they could do. So they just jumped in the lake and called it a wrap. And that's what's happened to America. It's coming to an end, right? Just like Rome. Rome come to an end. It became rotten from within. And with a great applause, it fell. So right now we're seeing all this basketball, NBA, and all this stuff. But you're also seeing the last moves of Donald Trump. Right? Because he's being manipulated by the Democrat, whatever you want. He's doing the elite of the works, which is coming. The American dream that's came to an end already. There is no such thing as liberalism and all that stuff. That's dead already. Working hard, that's all dead. The young people know that you can work as hard as you want, and people are going to steal from you. Right? That the people on top are always going to get on top, and the people at the bottom are always going to stay at the bottom. So people don't care about working hard anymore. That concept is out the window. To join the military for people are seeing the genocide of America that they created, what made America great again, and these people don't want to be part of it. All right, what's happening in Israel? You can say, well, we're not involved in that. Yes, we are, because we're giving them weapons, right? We're giving them weapons. They tell you, look, we're not going to forget America, even though you're not involved. You gave them the weapons. You weaponize these people to kill our people. So you might say we're not directly involved, but we are indirectly involved, and all that is connected to the great genocide that was, is, and it will continue to be. So those are the things the Roman Empire went through. That's what Greece went through, and that's what America's fruition is coming. You can't have great wars, a great empire on both ends, and sustain it. right? Sustain the wheat, sustain the gold to pay the soldiers. They couldn't do it. And with great applause, right? They were watching the gladiator games, but there was no more wheat. There was no more gold. And just like that, Rome fell. That great empire, which had roads, aqueducts, schools, universities, all that fell because it became rotten from within, became weak, right? What happens to the end? When men are ruling, everything is strong, everything is what it is. But at the end of a society, who starts ruling? Women start ruling. And that's where you get the end of a society because it's weak. People can come and take it away from you. And that's what happened with Greece, that's what happened with Rome, and that's what's happening to America. The last hours of the American dream are over, right? The American dream is a nightmare. And people are finding out they can't afford it. They can't afford a house. They can't afford to go to university because all that is debt. The more debt you are, the more you're going to go to prison. They're bringing back debt prisons. People are finding out I can't go to university because I'm not going to be able to afford to pay, that $100,000. And they're going to put 28% on top of that. That's crazy. That's like going to a loan shark, asking for $10,000, but you got to pay back $50,000. That doesn't make no sense. So that's what's happening. There's other governments all over the world that give education for free. Free education. Go to Germany, you get a free education. Go to Russia, get a free education. Don't come to America. You're going to be in debt the rest of your life. Okay, and that's what that famous political scientist said. Look, you're working all your life to be in debt in your last days, but you're never going to pay off. You're going to be in slavery your whole life to pay off something that you're never supposed to pay off. Malaquías 1:1, profecía de la palabra de Yahweh contra Israel por medio de Malaquías. Yo he amado, dice Yahweh, y dijiste, ¿en qué nos amaste? ¿No era ESAU hermano de Jacob? Dice Yahweh, y yo amé a Jacob. O sea, te está enseñando el Señor cómo amó la nación de Israel. Y no nació a su hermano, no amó a su hermano, ESAU. Y a ESAU aborrecí y convertí sus montes en desolación y abandoné su heredad para los chacales del desierto. ¿Qué no destruyó Grecia? ¿Qué no destruyó Roma? Y ahora va a destruir Estados Unidos otra vez. Porque es profecía de la destrucción, de lo que ellos hacen, lo que hicieron aquí en Estados Unidos. Ellos te dicen que era un gran labor que ellos hicieron, que sus antepasados hicieron de lo nada. Pero nosotros teníamos imperios aquí, los incas, los mayas, los aztecas, de pirámides y todo eso, pero ellos dicen que eso no es nada. ¿Okay? Versículo 4. Cuando Edom dijere, nos hemos empobrecido, pero volveremos a edificar lo arruinado. Así ha dicho Yahweh de los ejércitos, ellos edificarán y yo lo destruiré y les llamaré territorio de impiedad y pueblo, oigan bien, no nomás una gente que el Señor odia, es el pueblo que él odia, su descendencia, ¿okay? Y llamaré territorio de impiedad y pueblo contra el cual Yahweh está indignado para siempre, que siempre los va a odiar. Oigan bien, todo lo que ha construido el autoproclamado hombre blanco, el Señor lo ha destruido. Y ahora va a destruir Estados Unidos, porque ellos lo construyeron con la espalda de los israelitas, ustedes negros, latinos, indígenas. This is Malachi 1:1. God's love for Jacob. Okay. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Right? Because we'll say, when did you love us, Lord? We went into slavery. You know, we've been on the bottom of society. When have you loved us? Right? Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I love Jacob. So he's making a distinction. Look, I made them both, but I loved one of them. And I hated Esau, and I laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So he's called them the dragons. He hates these people. He's going to destroy their empire like he did before. He's going to do it again. Whereas from Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Why? Because they built up America. That was prophecy. Okay, and here in the book of Malachi, it tells you that they were built from nothing. They will build empires. But we will return and build desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness. And the people, remember, not just one person, Esau, their whole lineage, the whole people, the genealogy of Esau. And the people against whom Yahweh has indignation forever. Let's look up that word indignation. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I'm saying a word that I don't know. Let's look it up in the Hebrew. Zayam.
Strong's page 2194. Zayam.
To denounce, express indignation, be indignant. To have indignation, be indignant. Be angrily, be defiant. To be abhorrent, to express indignation in speech. Denounce, curse. Did he curse these people and how they look? To show indignation, show anger. Great anger the Lord has against these people, these Edomites, these Caucasians, right? He's about to destroy their empire. Okay? Just like he destroyed the nation of Israel in 70 AD, just how he destroyed the Americans in 1492. Now he's going to destroy what the Edomites have built in these last days. He's going to bring it all down. Why? Because he hates them, and it is prophecy that they were going to build and he's going to bring down. Okay? What is the great analogy we said? You go to the beach, a little kid makes a castle. He spends hours in it. And then before, all right, little Johnny, let's go home. What does he do? He kicks the damn castle, calls it a day. He destroys it before he leaves. And that's what the Lord is about to do. Destroy America, okay? And send his son and his legion of angels to destroy this wicked-ass place for good. And put his people above all nations. Okay, so we got to get that too. Because we got to prove all things. Deuteronomio 7:6, porque el Señor ahora va a destruir esta gente y poner a su gente sobre ellos. Deuteronomio 7:6. Porque tú eres pueblo santo para Yahweh tu Dios. Yahweh tu Dios te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial, más que todos los pueblos que están sobre la tierra. Él puso a Israel sobre todos los pueblos que existen. Los hizo mejor. ¿Okay? Versículo 7. No por ser vosotros más que todos por los pueblos, o es querido Yahweh, Dios escogió, pues vosotros eras los más insignificantes, los muy pequeños de todos los pueblos. ¿Okay? El Señor va a escoger a su pueblo otra vez, que es la nación de Israel. No ustedes cristianos, católicos, testigos de Jehová. No, los electos de la nación de Israel, todos son israelitas. ¿Okay, hermano? Hombres, mujeres, niños. ¿Okay? Esos son los que van a ser salvos. Este es ESAU tratando de recibir la bendición que ya se le había dado a su hermano por lentejas y carne cruda. Ahora le va a reclamar a su padre cuando ya le dio algo que ya no le pertenecía, pero realmente nunca le perteneció, era algo espiritual. ¿Okay? Que solo era para Jacob siempre. ¿Okay? Esto es Génesis 27 y 38. Y Jesús respondió a su padre: ¿no tienes más que una sola bendición, padre mío? Bendíceme también a mi padre mío. Y alzó Jesús su voz y lloró. ¿Y sabes quiénes son esos, man? Son los llorones que cuando ellos no aguantan lo que ellos mismos te hacen a ti, ellos no aguantan eso, man. Empiezan a llorar. Se hacen el pajarito apedrado, man. Con ese el fucking demonio, la serpiente, man. Versículo 39. Entonces Isaac, su padre, habló y le dijo: he aquí será tu habitación en grosura de la tierra y del rocío de los cielos de arriba. Y por tu espada vivirás, y a tu hermano servirás. Y sucederá cuando te fortalezcas, que descargarás su yugo de su servicio. Todo eso es lo que viene. El yugo de nosotros en el tiempo de tribulación va a ser quebrado. Y el Señor nos va a dar poderes espirituales. Eso es lo que viene, hermanos. ¿Okay? Esta es profecía de nuestro padre Jacob. Versículo 41. Y aborrecía a Jesús y a Jacob por la bendición, porque su padre le había vendido, y dijo en su corazón: llegarán los días de luto de mi padre, y yo mataré a mi hermano Jacob. Por eso ustedes, negros, latinos, indígenas, son odiados, porque ustedes tienen la bendición de su padre Jacob. Y el autoproclamado hombre blanco no recibió eso. Él recibió la bendición de la espada. ¿Ok? Él ha conquistado todo el mundo, y ahora todo eso se va a ser quitado y ellos van en esclavitud. Todo lo que fue dado ahora va a ser quitado. Ahora el tiempo de 1492, ¿ok? El fin de los nativos, ahora viene el fin de ellos. Así como vino el fin de los judíos En 70 AC viene el fin del autoproclamado hombre blanco. Su fin está cerca, hermanos. El tiempo del diablo ha llegado a su fin. This is Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off his neck. And that's about to happen. America is about to be destroyed, and the slaves are about to go free. Jacob's trouble is at hand. The people that are getting arrested, hemmed up, and thrown into prison are the Israelites. The people that have been enslaved for 400 years, their salvation is closer than you believe. The Messiah is coming to destroy this world and hand it over to his chosen people. That is what the prophecy says. Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing where his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's why you have Willie Lynch letters. You have 1492. You have the stealing of America. That's why America is about to be destroyed for the wrongs that were done for the children of Israel. The hanging of God's chosen people is at hand. The tribulation, the judgment of all that history is about to come full circle. Right? The fall of Jerusalem, 70 AD, that was prophecy. Right? The fall of America, 1492, that was prophecy. But now the fall of America is prophecy of the Lord coming back to destroy that which he let build on the back of his people, the slaves. So the people who did it now have to pay. Right? So this is history unfolding as we speak. Prophecy coming fulfillment. The end of the world, the end of an age is coming, and the beginning of the changing of the guard is coming. Génesis 36:1. Estas son las generaciones de Esau, el cual es Edom. So, muchas personas piensan que Esau no es Edom, pero Esau, cuando hizo ese pacto de comerse esa carne cruda, fue llamado Edom, que Edom significa rojo, que es rojo, la gente roja. Okay? This is Genesis 36:1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom, right? Because a lot of people don't understand that Esau is one man, but his progeny, his nation become Edom, okay? Which Edom means red in the Hebrew. Let's prove that.
H123. Edom.
Right, Edom. Adam. Edom, red. The Edomite, the Idumean, the descendants of Esau. Land of Edom, Idumea, land southeast of Palestine. Right? So those people were pushed out, but then they went to what? Europe. Then they came to America. right? And that's why the Lord is about to destroy what they built. We just read that. They will build, but I will destroy. So the prophecy is coming full circle that the Lord destroyed Greece, destroyed Rome, and now he's going to destroy America. Everything that they built is about to go down. This is biblical prophecy unfolding as we speak. Esta es profecía del Mesías cuando estaba todavía con nosotros. Este es Lucas capítulo 21 versículo 24. Y caerán al filo de la espada y serán llevados cautivos a todas las naciones, y Jerusalén será hollada por los gentiles hasta que los tiempos de los gentiles se cumplan. Entonces habrán señales en el sol y en la luna y en las estrellas, y en la tierra angustia de la gente, confundidas a causa de bramido del mar y de las olas. Ok, so ahorita ¿qué? Va a venir la sangre de luna en septiembre. Ahorita hubo una constelación de planetas este jueves pasado de 6 planetas. So el Señor está enseñando las señales de los cielos, ok, porque viene guerra, hambruna para los israelitas. Viene la tribulación de Jacob, ok. Está llegando a su profecía, ok. This is Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and they shall be led away captives into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And that's who ruling right now, the Gentiles, right? The Edomites particularly, which is prophecy. But they're going to be ruling till the Messiah says no more. And then the Messiah will come and destroy their empire, right? And give it to the nation of Israel, which is his empire, which he's going to allow us to be co-rulers in his empire. That's the prophecy. Verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, the stress of nations, with perplexity, the sea, and the waves roaring. Right? Did not we have already a 6th planet alignment? Is not there going to be a blood moon next month? These are all signs of the heaven of the war drums that are happening. Okay? That the United States is going to war, and there's nothing that can be done. Because this is all prophecy. Aren't they now rounding up nothing but black people now? Aren't they going to Chicago, Baltimore, right? Predominantly black communities, and rounding up so-called Negros, right? They started with the Northern Kingdom, so-called Latinos, Indigenous people, ICE, but now they're coming against all the tribes. That's Jacob's trouble, Jeremiah 30 and 7. Okay, so we're in those times where people do not understand why this is happening. This is just the last woes of America. Draconian law. Okay, they passed these in time of Greece. There's nothing new under the sun. Mateo 24 y 22. Y así aquellos días no fuesen acotados, nadie será salvo, mas por causa de los escogidos, aquellos días serán acortados. Porque ahorita el planeta está volteando o girando más rápido por un poco de segundos. Porque el Señor está haciendo estas cosas, acelerando las movidas del diablo. Que no empezaron a ir contra ustedes, indígenas y latinos, a ponerlos en cárceles de inmigración. Ahora están yendo contra los negros, ¿eh? Okay, so, no se trata de algo de colores, es de un odio ancestral que ya leímos en Génesis 36, que nosotros agarramos la bendición y ellos no la recibieron. Y desde ese punto quería matar a su hermano, que nosotros fuimos los hermanos de ellos por un tiempo. Pero el Señor dijo que que ellos quebraron ese pacto cuando querían matarnos. Eso, ya no somos hermanos. El Señor nos dijo eso. This is Matthew 24:22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, right? Because the earth is spinning faster by a couple of seconds, right? This is science already proven it. And why did the Lord do that? He's saying He's doing that because of the elect's sake, okay, which are the children of Israel. Only 1/3 of the nation is going to be saved, while 2/3 are going to die. All the nations are going to die, okay? Very few are going to survive the apocalyptic come of the Messiah. The elites are going to survive. They're going to be in their bunkers. But there's going to be the first slaves in the kingdom of heaven, which prophecy is being fulfilled, okay? So we have to understand these things, that we have to go through this tribulation, because this is when our yoke is going to be broken, which is prophecy that Jacob said that is going to happen during Jacob's trouble. That's when the Lord is going to give us spiritual powers, okay? That you're going to start seeing the real X-Men, the real Superman, okay? Okay? These are the things that these make movies about. You're going to see brothers with spiritual power that has never been seen at that level. Vamos a cerrar con esto, hermanos. Este es Job, capítulo 9, versículo 24. La tierra es entregada en las manos de los impíos. Que los impíos es el autoproclamado hombre blanco. Ya lo leímos en Malaquías 1. 1, 3, 4, 5, que el Señor los odia. Ellos son los impíos. Y Él cubre el rostro de los jueces. Si no es Él, ¿quién es? ¿Quién cubrió el rostro del Salvador, del Mesías? Él fue el autoproclamado hombre blanco. Él lo hizo, la imagen del Mesías, como un hombre blanco, un hombre pálido. Que la escritura, esa es una maldición. ¿Okay? So, ellos son los que cubrieron la imagen del juez. Si no es Él, ¿quién es? ¿Y dónde está? Si ellos no son los impíos, ¿dónde está el impío? ¿Y quién es? I'm going to close out with this, brothers and sisters. This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges therein. If not, where and who is it? Right? Because there's a people who changed the image of the Lord. Right? They what you call whitewashed it. Right? Why do they do that? Because it tells you that they are the wicked. Because they were going to cover the faces of the ultimate judge, the Messiah, the Mashiach Yahushai, and his people too. They're saying, there's people in Israel right now saying that they are the Jews, which is not coherent, it's not biblical, but they just got them. Okay, so you have to understand that prophecy is unfolding, the truth is coming out, and the truth will set you free. La verdad te hará libre, hermanos. Toda esta verdad se está exponiendo. Los crímenes de este diablo y el fin de esta sociedad está a mano. Nuestra salvación está cerca y la destrucción de estos edomitas está a mano, porque es profecía la destrucción de ellos. Está en Números 24, ¿okay? Está en Malaquías, en Jeremías, Apocalipsis 2 y 26, Salmos 1 y 8. Todas estas profecías están en toda la Biblia, man. El fin de este mundo está a mano. This is 2 Ezra 6 and 7, right? Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning thereof. ESAU es el fin del mundo. ¿Quién iba a estar reinando? El autoproclamado hombre blanco, que es ESAU. Él es el fin del mundo y Jacob es el principio de él que sigue. Eso es todo, hermanos. Ojalá que entiendan en los tiempos que estamos, que las profecías del Señor no van a fallar ninguna. ¿Ok? Que estas profecías tienen que pasar. Fueron escritas, fueron declaradas por los profetas y todas estas profecías tienen que pasar. ¿Por qué no ha regresado el Señor? Porque profecía tiene que pasar. Todas las cosas que estamos pasando, las tribulaciones que está acercando, son profecías y tenemos que ser purificados por esas cosas. So the fact that these things are happening now, these are prophecies. That's why the Lord hasn't returned, because these things have to happen to the nation of Israel, which are prophecies. And of course, the Lord is going to purify the elect of the nation of Israel through this Jacob's trouble and the end of the society, which he's going to put his people, okay, he's going to share the kingdom with his people, which are the Israelites. Okay, that's it. Nobody else. Everybody else is going into slavery. They're going to have to pay for what they've done, okay, because the Lord is a just man. He's about to round up people, and they're going to have to pay for what they have done in their last lives and with this life. Okay, so that's it, brothers and sisters. I hope you guys understand that the time of Jacob's trouble is at hand, that salvation is closer than you believe, and to call upon the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai for our salvation is closer than we believe. So call Halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Barakatham, Rakakidash, and he's going to have ears to hear. Shalom. Y el que tenga oídos que escuche. Shalom, hermanos. Ojalá que entendieron las escrituras, lo que está saliendo. Y esta gente que se me estaba oyendo se estaba ofendiendo, pero hay nada que pueden hacer contra las palabras de Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And the people that are hearing this around here, they were getting offended. They were getting growling up. There was plenty of people around here, and they didn't want to hear it. Why? Because it's gonna be the end of their world. I told you, it was the end of the natives. They accepted it. The Jews, 70 AD, they accepted it. Now it's time for them to fall. The time of Esau's end is at hand. The time of the Gentiles is coming to an end. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Call Halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Barakatham, Rakakidash, Aman.